already getting arrested. And by 14, I'm sitting in a juvenile detention center, facing at least 1 year in prison.
Alexander Pagani grew up on the streets of the Bronx. His parents were involved in the drug culture. And Alexander quickly decided he was on his own.
I felt completely rejected and totally embraced that sense of orphan or abandonment. And I just lived for myself. Like, it's just me, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to survive, just me.
For Alexander, survival meant joining a gang.
It appealed to me because it was an outlet for me to express total anarchy.
His goal was dominance, so he lived life to the extreme.
I remember exaggerating that street lifestyle when I didn't have to, or feeling like I did have something to prove. So if I was going to be evil, I became very evil.
Alexander's extended family tried to reach out and reason with him, especially his Christian grandmother.
I would tell my grandmother, come on, Ma, don't start with that church stuff. I'll go when I'm ready.
By the time Alexander was 16, he was facing hard time for robbery, burglary, and kidnapping. He was transferred to Rikers Island to await sentencing. But as soon as he arrived, he attacked 2 other inmates.
I stabbed them, honestly, for no reason, just to make a statement.
He was sent to solitary confinement for nearly a year. The time alone was sobering.
I'm 17 years old, and I have nothing. And this is how this ends. I think I was at the lowest that I could be.
Alexander's aunt, Vilma, worked at Rikers as a youth counselor.
Tell him, listen, you've tried everything else. Why don't you try Jesus?
So she began to be my voice of reason because I had no choice but to listen. Here I am.
One of the guards at the prison also got Alexander's attention.
There was just something about him that really appealed to me. And I said, man, this guy he's really into Jesus. You know, this God thing, he's really into that. I could look right in his eyes and I would see complete peace. I didn't have that. I wanted that. I didn't even know where to start. So I started with the Christian officer.
Alexander planned to dispute the charges against him. But when he went to court to be sentenced, something unusual happened.
When I walked in, I heard a voice saying, they're gonna give you 9 years. You are to take it. When I heard that voice, I do remember saying to myself, who's that? Who's speaking to me? And when I look up, the courtroom had, behind the judge, "In God We Trust," the word God shot like rays of light, came out the word God and came into me, like into my mind.
The judge agreed to lower his sentence from 21 years to 9 if Alexander pled guilty.
I knew God was talking to me. So without even thinking about what was told to me, I had pleaded guilty very quickly. I said, yes, I did it. And the next thing I know, I'm being whisked away.
When he got back to his cell, Alexander wrote a letter to his aunt, explaining what had just happened.
I'm telling her how I believe God wants me to change, but I'm really having a hard time making that transition. But I know that I need to, and I'm beginning to want to, because I want to go to heaven. When I wrote the word because, Jesus Christ came in my cell, and he speaks to my right ear, follow me. And I lifted my hand, and when I said I accept, it felt like things were breaking off of me. And I felt so peaceful, I fell asleep.
When he woke up the next day, he was a changed man.
Cigarettes, the pornography, the cursing, everything instantaneously left me. And I lived for Jesus behind prison walls.
As Alexander studied the Bible, God became more than just a powerful force he feared.
I read Romans chapter 8, where it says we have the spirit of adoption, where we cry, Abba, Father. I clearly remember that day having a problem calling God Father. I realized that my relationship with the Lord is based on me loving him, not fearing him. And I began to love him to this day. Just, he's my father. He's everything that I have.
Today, Alexander is married. He's also an author and now serves the same neighborhood he once terrorized. Alexander's family now attends his church, and his Aunt Vilma is amazed at the change in him.
Nothing's impossible, especially when God is in the mix. He's a different person. He really is. He really, really is.